What do you get when you have a Broadway professional and a camera crew? Long story short, you get a lot of cool info when you get ShowbizU luminaries. Hello.
Hi.
Could you give us your name first of all?
Yeah, so my name is Kit Goldstein Grant.
And you are?
I'm a composer, librettist, and lyricist.
What got you into this wonderful world of musicals?
Oh my gosh, it was so long ago. I read a book by Alan J. Lerner, and it was about like the history of musicals. And I had just like randomly picked it up at the secondhand bookshop, and I suddenly realized that the thing I loved in life was musical theater. And like I knew I liked theater, but I hadn't really put it together that it was musical theater that I was so crazy about. And I read this, and I just got like I thought I would write my first musical after that, and I did. And I was about 14, I think. Yeah, I think I started when I was 13 and finished when I was 14. And then a group of friends decided we would put on this show, so we put it on. And after that, we kept doing shows every year for a while, and it turned into like a theater company that we did for quite a few years, and I kept writing some shows for it.
And it's been in your blood ever since.
And then I couldn't stop.
What sparks your ideas? How do you know what to write or what stories you want to tell?
Oh, well, I like to do adaptations, so a lot of it is just reading a lot and finding things that really excite me that I've read that I can't, like I want to turn into this different form. So I love doing like folk tales and old books. Sometimes too, like it's more like I've done collaborations where it's more like an idea that a couple people are batting around. You know, you're saying, what about this? And you suddenly hit on something that just really excites you. That's sort of like, I really like sort of science fiction and Twilight Zone-y sort of things. So one of my shows I worked on has that sort of vibe to it. That was an original that I worked on with several other people, and it was so much fun.
You came through this program called Theater Accelerator.
I did.
How did you find out about Theater Accelerator?
It was actually through a friend of mine who had been through the program, and she told me about it and said it was amazing and I should do it. And so I applied, and it was.
What was the show that you entered into Theater Accelerator?
So it's called The Wrong Box. It is based on a novel by Robert Louis Stevenson and his stepson Lloyd Osborne. It's a Victorian black comedy about a tontine, which is this crazy system where a bunch of people put money in a fund when they're young, and then the last person living gets all the money.
What particularly did you walk away from Theater Accelerator? What were some of the takeaways that you now use today?
I think it was really helpful to get more of a feel for how producers think, for one, and to get a better handle on some pitching. I went away thinking also of the writer as more of a collaborator with producers, which I think was really helpful because I've wound up sort of in that default position before. So it's nice to think that's a good position to be in. And to like more actively be a part of that. So yeah.
What excites you about the future of this art form?
Seeing more shows and seeing them go in new ways. Like one thing that excited me so much about Apples and Oranges Arts was like that you're doing these streaming musicals. And seeing that there's a way to get them out to more people and sort of capture this art form a little bit more than we've done in the past always, without having to be like the major, motion picture. Mm-hmm. So that's something that excites me. Also just like the way it's always evolving, and like, the way new shows still keep happening based on old subjects, but they're new and exciting. So I love old subjects, as I said. So I love seeing like this old subject taken and something new and exciting done with it. And that still happens.
And for those watching, what advice would you give to those people thinking about a career, or even just writing? It doesn't even have to be a career, but they are passionate about this type of storytelling. What would you say to them?
Just watch everything and learn everything and read the books. Learning about what you're doing is so useful, and learning what's come before you is so useful, and be out there networking all the time. Making connections and making friends is like where I've gotten a lot of what I've gotten in this world, and like it's so important.